Welcome back. It's another Hoff Time Report. I'm glad you're here. We're in our studios in the Hoff Building, named the Hoff Building after me, of course, to make liberals want to cry, but we won't make them do that tonight. Well, we might. I don't know. It's going to be a fun evening because we have a great project we want to unveil to you tonight. Something that we've been working on for several months. It's extraordinarily exciting, and I think it's going to be really helpful to Idaho parents and school students. So I'm joined tonight by Caitlin Shepard. And Caitlin is a research analyst here at the Idaho Freedom Foundation. Welcome to the program, Caitlin.
Hi, Wayne. Thanks so much for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, glad you're here. This project is called the Lead Map, and Caitlin again has been working on it diligently. And why don't you just go ahead and take it away and tell us what we got?
Sure. Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here, and thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about the Lead Map. So our project that we've been working on, the official title is called the Idaho K12 Lead Map. That's LEAD, and what it stands for is liberty. Sorry.
You still there?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, internet cut out. It's liberty and
Oh,
education and academic development. And so what this is it kind of encapsulates our vision for Idaho's education system and for all of Idaho's students. At IFF and the Center for American Education, we're really hoping that school districts take the lead in returning to a traditional mode of education in which they're imparting truth to students, they're respecting parental rights, and they're teaching kids about their American birthright of liberty. And so what we have is created an interactive map with all the major school districts in Idaho. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like.
bring it in there. Let's see the map.
All right, so here we go. Here is our lead map. There's a couple ways that you can find this. The first way is to just search for leadmap.org, and eventually it'll also be available through our website, centerforamericanaeducation.org, and there will be a tab at the top where you can find it from there. So the first thing you'll see when you come to this screen is the title of the map, as well as a short description about it. If we scroll down here, you'll see the interactive map itself. And again, it has all major school districts in Idaho on this map. And each school district has been evaluated based on two factors. The first is students' academic performance on tests like the Idaho Reading Indicator and the Idaho Standards Achievement Test. And the second factor is the number of critical social justice incidents that have been identified for that school district. And a critical social justice incident has been defined as a case in which the tenets of critical race theory or radical gender theory or other critical theories have been implemented at the district or school level through a variety of vehicles. And these vehicles can take a number of forms. They can be a school club that students can join. It can be a district-wide policy. It can be a social emotional learning program, and more. And so after we evaluated each school district based on these two factors, each district was assigned a color. And so as a general rule, a district with good academic performance and few, if any, social justice incidents is going to appear green, whereas one that has a lot of CSJ incidents and pretty poor academic performance will appear more red. Districts that are in between these two extremes are going to appear yellow. And you'll also see a few gray districts, and these are the districts where there was insufficient information available to be able to evaluate the district. But the map doesn't just stop there. It also collects a lot of other useful categories of information, including the diversity, equity, and inclusion personnel, if any, the superintendent's salary, the district spending per student, and the nearby alternative educational providers. And we're really excited about this aspect of it because it categorizes for parents a list of charter schools, private schools, and a few homeschool groups located near that district office. So that's going to be a great option for families that may be looking for an alternative educational provider in their area. And there are a couple ways that you can use this map to find what local school district you're in. The first would be if you know location on the map, you can just go ahead and click on your district. The second way is if we go up here at the top of the map, there is a search bar. You can just put in your home address and that will direct you right to a pop-up page with information about your particular school district. The third way is if you have school districts, you can go ahead and click on that and then find your school district. So I do just want to walk through an example together. Let's go ahead and click on one of these districts. If we click on it, it will be a preview of information about that particular district. So you'll see at the left-hand side, there will be the test scores, the spending per student, the number of CSJ incidents, and the nearby alternative educational providers. So if we go ahead and click on Learn More, that will take us to a district-specific page where you can see expanded information about that district. If you hover over these little information icons, you'll get some more information about what these tests are measuring. And if we keep scrolling down here, you'll see an expanded view of the social justice incidents that we have cataloged, as well as a link. You can go and see the information for yourself. If a particular school has been identified, that will be listed here on the left. And then if we continue to scroll down, you'll see the nearby alternative educational providers that have been located in that area, as well as links to all of that. You can go ahead and view that district information for yourself. One other thing that we're very excited about with this project is if we scroll down at the bottom of any district page, you will see a social justice incident submission form. And what this is an interactive form. If Idahoans or parents have witnessed a concerning incident at their school, they can go ahead and fill out this form, submit that incident to us, as well as any supporting documentation they might have, a homework assignment, an email, anything that they might want to submit. And after that's submitted, a member will go through all the reports and we'll look at possibly including that incident in the lead map. So that's a very exciting and interactive feature of the map. I do want to go back here to the home page and just explain a few more things about the map. So below the map, you'll see a key or a legend that will tell you more about the map colors and what they stand for. Again, you'll see the district drop-down menu. And here's another place that you can find the submission form if you're interested in submitting that incident for review by the CAE team. So that is the lead map, and happy to be here and share with you.
Excellent. So let me ask you just a few questions about this. So we go back. We talk about indoctrination and social justice in the K-12 education system, and you've done the research. You presented it before, showing that yes, it's taking place across Idaho, and now you've gotten down into each individual school district. So, what do you know today that you didn't know, say, last winter when we were presenting the last round of research?
That's a great question. It's been really interesting to kind of get all our research in the same place and have it set up this way by individual districts so that we're really able to see exactly how the quality of that particular local school district. And I wouldn't say there's a clear pattern of indoctrination throughout the state, but I do know that each individual school district really needs to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. You can see even in some of our more rural districts or our smaller districts, there are some social justice incidents that we've identified even there. So contrary to the popular narrative, this is taking place throughout the state and it really needs to be documented that way. So
Taking place in, one or two incidents, or taking place in something that's more systemic?
I would say definitely more systemic. We've identified multiple districts throughout the state, and so it's not just in any one area, throughout one area in particular.
What are you seeing in terms of academic performance? Did you look at all these
Yeah.
different groups?
Yeah, that was one thing that was very surprising. Generally across the state, our students aren't doing very well in reading or math. The test scores are fairly low. For example, the kind of statewide average, and that's measured by the NAEP test, And that test shows that 37% of our students are reading at grade level, and I think it was 43% of our students are able to do math kind of at grade level. So yeah, that was really surprising to find out when we were doing all this research.
It's good to have all that in one place. Did you look into the transgender policies and what's going on with the school districts in that regard?
Yeah, that's currently one thing that we will be looking into. The map does document several GSA or Gay Straight Alliance clubs that are happening, that are taking place and being hosted on some school campuses throughout Idaho. I believe there's about 20, at least 28 of them that we've documented. And we are looking into pronoun policies and stuff like that. And that will be included in a later edition of the map.
So the map is going to be updated. This isn't just here's your data, check it out once and never come back.
Yes, exactly. The map's going to be dynamic. So as we conduct more research, as Idahoans are involved in telling us what's going on in their local schools, the map will be updated frequently, and it'll be continue to provide transparency for our districts and give Idahoans an updated idea about what's going on in their schools.
So let's say that I'm in a school district that has maybe a school board election coming up, or there's a levy or a bond issue. What do you recommend that I do with this data? So I go and I click on my school district, look at my, the test results, look at the superintendent's salary, see if there's any DEI staff or critical social justice events, and then what?
I think this information can be very important for residents of that particular district that may need to be making a decision on these types of issues, to kind of have that information when these big questions are presented to them. And that's something that they need to decide at the polls.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I really think it's quite amazing, and you have done quite a bit of research. I think that it's also very telling that you don't know everything. I mean, there's how many school districts? 120 something,
115.
115, and so you may do your level best to find information about what's going on in a particular school district. That doesn't mean that you've uncovered everything, and that's why that parental form, the sort of whistleblower form is super important. That's live right now, so I guess people can put documents, they can upload information to you that you would look at, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's a great point, Wayne. It was very difficult to kind of track down a lot of this information. There's probably a lot of things that are going on in schools that we're not aware of. There is, in general, a transparency problem that's taking place in our public education system, and all the information that's needed to thoroughly and totally evaluate any particular school district is really dispersed among several levels. And that would be things like the State Department of Ed, the individual district, perhaps a teacher in an individual classroom. And so we're hoping that the lead map can help address that transparency problem, and by putting a lot of information together place that's helpful for Idahoans and families as they're seeking to better understand their school district.
Good. I really like that. Anything else that you want to cover that we haven't already talked about? It's a really beautiful project. I'm truly impressed.
I think we've covered just about everything. I would add, if you're listening to this, please do, and you're concerned about something in your school district, please go ahead and submit one of those incident reports. We will definitely take a look at it. And if you find this to be a great tool, go ahead and share it with your connections and with your friends. We really want to get the word out about this great new tool that can help enlighten and empower Idaho families.
And if you want to see more features, I would just put a plug in. Certainly help us out. Consider donating. We can definitely add features as we have the financial capability to do that. So don't hesitate. If you're not already a supporter, please consider donating. Go on the website and do that. That keeps people like Caitlin, who's a really, really gifted, very talented team member, employed and happily working on these projects to expose what's going on, what's truly going on in Idaho's government-run schools. So, Caitlin, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking part of your Friday night. I want to bring in Nicholas Kleinsworth now, because we have another project. We're not done yet. We have all these things that are being worked on, have been worked on for months right now. And Nicholas, also research assistant at the Idaho Freedom Foundation, has been working to uncover the unsavory misuse of Idaho taxpayer dollars. Nicholas, it's really good to see you. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, Wayne. I'm happy to talk about this project.
Did your fiance yell at you because you're not free Friday night that you're here doing this instead?
Oh, no. She understands that politics can sometimes be a 24-hour job, and so
24
she's been very,
hours.
very understanding.
At least you've gotten her acquainted with that idea now. Before don't wait until it's like 3 years into your marriage and it's like, yeah, this politics thing can be a 24-hour job. It never ends. There's never an end to the work. Oh, I wish I knew that before we got married. No, this is good. I tell her we appreciate her very much for sparing a little bit of your time tonight. But tell us about this research project that you're working on. We have called it Waste Ed. Is that how you say it? Waste Ed?
Wasted, yes. So the purpose of this project is to really look into how our public school system could possibly spend $3.3 billion this fiscal year, yet nearly half of our students can't read at grade level. 3 in 5 are not proficient in math. Um, and it's quite a problem because the price tag keeps going up. The school districts are asking for more and more money, as we have talked about before. Proposition 1 is supposed to be on the ballot this November, and they're looking at raising another $500 million for the public school system. And the argument is that our children are failing and the schools just need the money. If we just gave them just a little bit more money, they're going to be able to make it. They're going to be able to do so much better. It's going to change everything. But keep in mind that the public school budget has already increased by $1 billion just since 2 years ago. It's only been 2 years, and we've already grown the public school budget by 2 years, or $1 billion. And so this report is supposed to look into why that is. Why are we spending so much money on our schools, yet they still can't seem to close the gap and help our students improve on their reading and on their math? And it's designed to give taxpayers tools too. So it looks into some conservative free market policy options that they can take to their lawmakers and to their school boards, so that way they're not going to have to pay so much for a failing system.
What's the one takeaway? I know you're still putting the final touches on the research, but what's the biggest takeaway that you got in looking into the government-run schools?
I would say the biggest takeaway that we were able to walk away with, and this kind of connects to Caitlin's map, actually. We were able to compile a lot of data on student performance. So then we were able to take that data and analyze it across the districts and compare the spending, and also compare that spending over time as well. And putting it all together, we were able to identify that it really doesn't matter how much you're spending on the public school system. The way that the funding formula is set up and the way that the public school districts have decided to spend that money is not really making any difference in student outcomes. There is as close to zero correlation as you really can get statistically. And I would say that was probably the one figure that all us conservatives knew all along, and all of us who are arguing for smaller government and less spending. But it was really neat to be able to see the principles come to life in the data, and we can then present that in this report and really shed light on this issue.
Where's the money going then? I mean, I don't understand. Is it that the money is being directed into the schools and the schools aren't utilizing it appropriately, or that there's no effect on any outcomes because you just can't possibly make it any better because of however many dollars you put into it? I don't really understand what's going on here.
Well, the thing is the funding formula is not really designed to help students. The way the funding formula is set up, schools get more money based on the demographics of their staff and how much education they've received and whether or not they've taken this certification or that certification. So the system itself is already set up in a way to where the dollars aren't going to the students. But then you look at it a little further, you look at administrators and those certificated staff. They've actually grown, the number of their positions have grown 3 times faster than the rate at which teaching positions have grown. So that
That's still
means
going on
that,
right now. That's
so
still
say again?
happening. That's still happening right now. That's you're talking about
Absolutely.
because it's interesting. I
Absolutely.
think that in years past, many years past, and in fact, one of the first research projects we did about 14 years ago at IFF was looking into the size of the school bureaucracy relative to the growth in the number of students, and it was high then. And you're saying that's still going on. Nothing's changed.
Yep, nothing has changed. This has been the case for years now. We've been because, and in writing this report, I'm also trying to anticipate what the opposition arguments are going to be. So they're going to say, "Oh, this is a post-COVID thing," or "Oh, this is a recession thing," or "This is due to inflation," or "This is a Putin inflation, really Biden inflation kind of a thing." Um, and so we were looking at it before COVID, we're looking at it after COVID, and really a lot of these things weren't affected by the pandemic, and a lot of these things haven't been affected by the current economic situations. Students have been performing just as poorly 10 years ago as they are today. The school districts are wasting just as much money as they were 10 years ago as they are today. In fact, they're wasting even more. Now they have all this COVID money from the federal government, somewhere in the amount of $260 million of COVID money is just going to salaries, benefits, and bonuses for your administrators and your auxiliary personnel and all of those other people. But meanwhile, it's not actually going to support the system. And then you also have our legislature. In this last session, they passed a bill that was supposed to give just everybody in the school district $1,000 just because they had the money available. And I mean, that's money
Because
that they
we like
borrowed from our
you.
grandchildren. Say again?
Because we like you.
Yes, literally just because they like them. They're literally handing money to the schools, hoping that it's going to change something. It hasn't changed anything.
It's a warm hug using not even taxpayer dollars. It's using money that was printed on a printer in Washington, D.C. with nothing really backing it.
Right.
Um, we call that a tax increase via inflation. Um,
Absolutely. It's the most insidious of all.
it truly is. I understand that they're completely unaware of it. But even putting aside the COVID, though, before COVID, before all the infusion of federal money, you're saying there was still that trajectory anyway. We were still seeing a bunch of money going into not necessarily the classrooms, but school bureaucracies without any real anything to show for it.
Absolutely. So we saw it in master educator premiums, and that was a program that was supposed to encourage teachers to stay in the state if we just gave them bonuses for getting certain certifications, things like that. It was a program that was really not going to succeed from the very start. It was a program that the legislature created, and then they gave out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to all these different school districts. And then after 4 years, they're like, yeah, we didn't really think it was going to work anyway. And so then they just removed it. And so
As you
it's programs like that that are just rampant throughout the whole system.
Did you by chance take a look at the pension system and the rising costs of the pension system's impact on the education system?
I've looked at it somewhat. An interesting fact is that Idaho actually it has the seventh best pension system for teachers in the country, and teachers can be vested in their pension system in as little as 5 years, and they can also it's projected that they'll have an adequate amount of money to retire after only 15 years of being in education. So what ends up happening is 67% of our teacher workforce has worked as a teacher for 6 years or more. So that means that a lot of our teachers could really just retire right now if they wanted to. And so what they've done is they've kind of engineered a future teacher shortage by creating this super great low bar retirement system for teachers. And meanwhile, they're not able to really fill any of them back in.
A lot of stuff. There's a lot of things happening, and it's a complex area. But I don't think that the true issues underlying the education system, the true problems that underlie the education system, have been really exposed. And so this project, again, we're calling it Wasted, goes a long way to answering a lot of questions about where the money is going and to what effect. So great work, Nicholas. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your continued diligence in tracking down waste in the education system in Idaho.
Excellent. Thank you, Wayne. And if any of you want to get onto the wait list for the report and be able to get it as soon as it's available, make sure you go to idahofreedom.org/wasted report. You can put in your information and sign up there.
Very nice. Well, thanks for being here this evening, Nicholas. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. But yeah, so we've got the team has been doing just wonderful work. We've been very, very busy this summer. I was telling somebody the other day that it used to be that that the summer was slow. You used to have time off, and I still go around downtown, and like a lot of the people who work at the Capitol, in shorts and a t-shirt like the one I have on today, and you see other folks who are lobbying or working in some regard in government, very casual this time of year, but the pace was always slower. There was actually time to catch a breath and think about what was going to happen in the upcoming legislative session, which is months down the road. But no, these folks have been working hard in our office. They're working very, very diligently every single day on a lot of different issues. Of course, Caitlin and Loss, as you just saw, have been working on this research project. One which is in the form of a report, and the other which is in the form of a website. There are a lot of other reports that Anna Miller has been heading up, a lot of research, a lot of legislation that we're working on and asking questions about and trying to get ready for the next legislative session. Fred's been busy working on tax policy things. There's a lot of tax policy stuff going on. I've been working on some Medicaid stuff, as well as some other kind of corporate welfare types of projects. So there's just a lot of things that we're paying very, very close attention to. And the issues are extraordinarily large. We've got a really huge budget surplus. We've got all kinds of mandates coming from the Biden administration and affecting our public schools and our Medicaid program. There's just a lot of things that we've been working on. And so if you're not already a supporter of the Idaho Freedom Foundation, hope you'll consider. If you can't and you just enjoy watching this content, I hope you'll like the content, press the like button, subscribe to the channel so you get notified when we go live or when we have other content that's coming your way, and push the bell notification as well so that you don't miss anything. But we really appreciate your engagement. We appreciate you spreading the word about these projects so people know that this is out there, because I guarantee you, if you're just waiting for the Idaho news media to talk about this latest report that's come out from the Freedom Foundation, they won't do that. What they will do instead is they'll wait for the school officials to bash us for releasing the project, and they'll report on that. But they're not going to report on the fact that this information is out there, because it goes against their narrative. So it's very, very important work. If we can fix the things going on in Idaho and Idaho's education system and the healthcare system and our tax policy and our regulatory policy and so on, we can really lead the other states. We don't have to be the skinniest kid at fat camp, where we're, "Oh, yes, you're not California. You're better than California." Well, yeah, we are, but we're still not great. We could be better. We could be a lot better, especially in a state that's run by a lot of people who go claiming that they're free market conservatives. So it's a summer long commitment. It's every day. I always tell folks there's not enough hours in the day. You need to get your rest, because you truly could work every hour of every day And that's not good for you. It's not good for your family. But there is so much to be done in order to make Idaho the very best place in the world to raise a family or have a business or grow old and retire. We're almost there. We're on our way. We just have just a bit more work to do, and that's why our team works so hard on projects like this. So I hope you'll support the effort. I hope you'll tell your friends, coworkers, your neighbors, your state legislators about the fact that these tools exist, and we're looking to help fix what's going on in our government-run education system. That's all for tonight. We'll be back again next week with some more Hoff Time, and look forward to seeing you then.